Hello everyone, welcome back. This is a live recording of a 50-minute full body flow. So find some space to move and let's get started. I think that we will start seated. Any comfy seat will do, but you might want to place your hands on the ground beside you. Maybe just lightly rest your fingertips and then lengthen through your spine a bit more. And you can close your eyes if you haven't already. And just start to notice the ground beneath you. Maybe push into it a little bit. Let your shoulders fall away from your ears. Just notice your breath. You don't have to change it. Just feel your belly move with the next inhale that you take. Feel your belly come back in as you exhale. And taking just another moment here, being somewhat still, maybe completely still. And just grow a little bit taller through your spine. Gentle press into the ground. And we'll start to breathe just a little bit deeper. So keep your hands on the ground beside you, but take a slower, deeper breath in and maybe push into your fingertips a little bit more. Maybe try to take the bend out of the elbows a little bit more. Take another slow, deep breath in and out. Do that one more time. A slow, deep breath in. Press into your hands. And let that breath go. And then let's use another big inhale and start to reach your right arm out to the side and up above you and walk your left fingertips away from you, as far away as you want to go. Maybe you take the bend out of that left elbow. Maybe the right one too as you reach up and lean over, and maybe lift your chin up towards your right shoulder too. So you'd be looking up, maybe if your eyes were open. Feel that side stretch, maybe reach a little bit more. And then use a big inhale to find your way back through center. Bring your hands, both of them, to the ground again. Press into the fingertips. And you take the bend out of your elbows a little bit more. Lift your chest off your low back. And then take a nice big inhale and reach your left arm out, up, and over as you walk the right fingertips away this time. As far as you want to go, but maybe going for a little bit straighter arm. Reach up, lean over. Maybe lift your chin towards your top shoulder too. Feel the length through the side of your body. And then use a nice big inhale to come back through center. Bring your hands back to the ground beside you, both of them. Press into your fingertips again. Nice long spine. Shoulders falling from the ear. And then we're going to walk our hands behind us a little bit. Then keeping the spine pretty tall, but hands moving just a little bit behind us. And then we'll take a bit of a lift of the chest, of the chin. You can lean back a little bit. Just a little bit. You can walk your hands together behind you as much as they want to. Push into the fingertips, lift your chest, maybe lift your chin. Stay for another breath, a little squeeze of your shoulder blades together. And then start to relax. Let the chest fall, let your hands move, maybe all the way to your knees or to your lap. You could add a shoulder roll in if you wanted. You can start to open your eyes too if you have your eyes closed. Still, feel free to add a couple shoulder rolls, but we are going to make our way into tabletop. So you can find your way over onto your hands and knees. Spread your fingers out a little wider. Maybe give your hips a little bit of a sway. And then using an inhale, start to drop your belly down. Lift your chest. Maybe bend the elbows and then straighten the arms. Lift the chest, the chin. Stay for an inhale. And as you exhale, you can round your spine. Push into your hands, squeeze your belly. Inhale again, drop your belly down, bend your elbows, and then straighten the arms as you lift the chest and maybe the chin. Exhale to round it out. And one more breath here. Inhale, drop your belly, arch your back, and exhale as you round. Awesome work, you guys. Come back to a nice long spine. Widen your knees, bring your big toes together, sending your hips back towards your heels. So you can stay back here, pushing into the hands. You might add a little bit of a sway side to side. You can lower your forehead down, enjoy a few moments in child's pose, or we can move forwards and back. Our knees are wide, but if you don't want them to be wide, you can bring them together. Just bringing the hips towards the heels and then lifting back up. So let your knees decide if you do this, if they're wide. You can bring the shoulders a little closer to the fingertips or past the fingertips, or it can be a nice small movement, no movement at all. Just a few breaths here, maybe warming up through the wrists. Feel your palms pressing against the ground. Feel the hips, the legs. And then the next time you come up, if you do have your knees wide, just bring them back in so that you're in tabletop again. Give your hips a little bit of a sway side to side. And then we'll tuck our toes under and lift up and into downward facing dog. Take a moment. Maybe spread your fingers wide again. Maybe pedal the feet a few times too. Slow, deep breath in, slow, deep breath out. Let's use an inhale to look forwards. As you exhale, walk your feet to the top of your mat. Taking an inhale for a half lift once you get there. Nice long spine. And exhale, fold forward. As you inhale, come all the way up to standing. Reach up. Exhale, lower your arms down. Take a shoulder roll. Inhale as you reach up. Exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Reach up and exhale, lower your arms to your side. Just stay standing here for a moment. Let's try to bring our hands to our low back. Maybe you try to hold your forearms or even your elbows, snugging the arms a little closer together. Maybe take a little lift of the chest, a little look up above you, but push into your feet. And then start to look forwards again. Let the chest come back down a touch. Let your arms come back to your sides. Shoulder roll if you want one. Inhale as you reach up and exhale as you fold forwards. Inhale, take a half lift. Exhale, fold. We're going to plant our hands and take our left foot back. We're going to set up a lunge. You can bring your knee down. Find your balance here in this lunge. You can keep your hands on the ground or you can lift up. Maybe roll your mat over for your back knee, but find your balance if you're lifting up. And then your hands, you could have them in front of you on your knee, your hips, your low back. You could also try to hold your forearms, your elbows, a little backwards hug of the upper body. A little lift of the chest, maybe the chin too. Take another inhale. And as you exhale, we're bringing our hands all the way down to the ground. If you have your back knee down, it could stay or you could lift it. Take an inhale to look forwards though from your lunge. And exhale, bring your back foot up. Take an inhale for a half lift. And exhale, folding, planting the hands, and our right foot's coming back. Take your time, set up your lunge. Decide, do you want to just keep your hands on the ground? Do you want to lift? Maybe roll your mat over. Find those hips, hands. Where do they want to be? In front of you, on your hips, behind you, low back, maybe trying to hold your elbows, your forearms. Maybe a little lift of the chest, little lift of the chin, just for another inhale. And as you exhale, bring your hands back down. Maybe lift your back knee up. Take an inhale to gaze forwards though, and exhale, bring your back foot up to the top. Take an inhale, half lift. Exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, come all the way up. Reach up. And exhale, lower your arms to your sides. Shoulder roll, maybe. Stay standing. Try to do the hands on the low back. Hold the elbows. Maybe interlace your hands behind you and try to squeeze the palms together a little bit. Your elbows might be nice and bent. That's totally fine. But maybe you try to take the bend out of the elbows with a little pull the shoulders back, a little lift of the chest, the chin maybe, trying to squeeze those palms together a little bit. Maybe that means you have to lift your hands away from the glutes, the low back. Just another inhale and an exhale to relax. Arms to your sides, maybe another shoulder roll. Take an inhale to reach up. Exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands. We're going to take our left foot back and drop the heel down. So let's rise into warrior two. Adjust your feet as you need so you're balanced. Our arms. You can start by reaching them out, but we are going to be bringing the hands towards the hips. Then our right hand, it can stay on the hip to start here, but we're going to try to tip forwards a little bit towards our front knee. So think right shoulder, right knee, maybe in line with each other a little bit. If your hand on your hip is in the way, you can rest the forearm on the leg, palm facing up. Think opening the chest, maybe taking a peek past your left shoulder. Maybe the left arm is going to start to reach up. Maybe reach over. Extended side angle. Your left hand could also come to your low back. Or maybe it could try to find the right hip or the top of that quad a little. Open your chest, maybe by taking a peek past that left shoulder. Awesome work, you guys. We're going to be bringing our hands to the ground back to our lunge. So you might stay for an inhale. And as you exhale, kind of unwind everything, turn everything, and bring your hands down as gracefully as you can into a lunge. And then take a look forwards as you inhale. And exhale, bring your back foot up to the top. Inhale, half lift, and exhale to fold. Plant your hands and take your right foot back. Drop the heel and then lift up and into warrior two, and maybe adjust your feet. Widen your feet as much as you want to. Arms maybe reaching out. They just want to go there as we come into warrior two. But then let's bring our hands to our hips. Soften the shoulders and then maybe take a little tip towards your knee. A little tip. Maybe you're looking up already. Maybe your left hand stays on the hip. Maybe the forearm comes to the top of the leg and you tip a little bit more. Palm could face up. Spread your fingers wide instead of just letting the hand hang. Spread those fingers wide. Keep the chest open to that right side. Maybe the right arm lifts straight up. Maybe over. And then maybe that right hand will come back for the low back. Or maybe it tries to find the left hip. Maybe the top of the leg, the quad. Can you gaze past your right shoulder a touch? Maybe it feels better on the neck to look down. Breathe. Feel your legs. Take another inhale. As you exhale, unwind everything. Come down to your lunge. Take your time, but once you're there, inhale to look forward. Exhale your back foot up to the top. Inhaling into a half lift and exhale to fold forwards. As you inhale, come all the way up to standing, reaching up, and exhale, lower your arms down. Shoulder roll if you want one, but stay standing. Hands again, maybe low back. Maybe you're interlacing your fingers. We're gonna fold forwards this time though. So if you wanna widen the feet, you can widen the feet. If you wanna stay standing, you can stay standing. Maybe try to take the bend out of the elbows if you're bringing your palms together though, interlacing the fingers. A little lift to the chest, the chin. Feel free to stay standing tall or start to bend your knees and tip forwards. A little squeeze of the shoulder blades together maybe lifting your hands higher and higher off of the low back. Feel your chest, your shoulder. Feel your legs. Let your head get a little bit heavier. A little tuck of the chin towards the collarbone. Now, if you did fold forwards, we're coming back up to standing. So start by bending your knees and slowly start to lift. Can you keep your arms where they are, your hands where they are as you stand tall again? And maybe take another little lift of the chest, the chin, and then relax. Bring your arms to your sides. Shoulder roll if you want one. If you need to bring the feet a little closer together, you can do that too. And inhale, reaching back up. Exhale, fold forwards. Take an inhale as you lift halfway up and exhale to fold down. So plant the hands. Let's take both of our feet back this time for downward facing dog. Press into the ground. Send your hips nice and high. Stay. Slow, deep breath in and out. And do that again. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Take one more. Slow, deep breath in. And as you breathe out, we can bring our knees down. They can go wide, big toes together. You can send your hips back towards your heels for child's pose. We're all gonna melt it down this time. Rest your forehead. Feel free to bend your elbows as much as they want to bend. So you can relax through your shoulder and soften your belly. Just notice your breath. Feel free to stay a little bit longer. And we can start to move again. We can lift back up into tabletop. Bring your knees in. Maybe give your hips a little bit of a sway side to side. But then tuck your toes under and lift your knees into your downward facing dog. Now use an inhale. Start to look forwards. Exhale, walk on up to the top of your mat. Take an inhale for a half lift once you get there. And as you exhale, folding forwards, we're going to plant our hands and our left foot's coming back again. Dropping the heel down, and then we're going to lift up into warrior one this time. So you can face forwards. You can adjust your feet too, so that you got a little bend in your front knee, but your back foot is also planted too, and we're shining our chest, our belly button. Okay, our hands might find our hips, might find our low back. We might interlace our fingers and squeeze the shoulder blades a little, open the chest more. Now you can stay lifted, or you can start to tip forwards, kind of to the inside of your front knee. And maybe you're lifting your hands up and off the low back. And just a little press into both of the feet. And a breath or two here. And if you did decide to fold, let an inhale bring you back up and let your arms go above you. Reach up, maybe even look up. Take an inhale. As you exhale, fold. Bring your hands to the ground. You can spin the heel up. Take another inhale from your lunge. Exhale, bring your back foot to the top. Take an inhale for a half lift. As you exhale, fold. Plant your hands and your right foot's coming back. Drop the heel down and start to rise. And adjust as needed. Look forwards. Hands to the hips. Low back, maybe interlacing the fingers, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the chest, stay here, or fold. Fold kind of to the inside of the knee a little bit. Maybe lift the hands up. Feel your chest, your shoulder. Press into your feet, the back one too. Awesome work, you guys. If you're folding forwards, use an inhale to come back up. Release your arms, maybe lift them, reach them up, maybe look up. Deep breath in. As you breathe out, come down, fold forwards, plant your hands, spin the back heel up from your lunge. Inhale, look forwards two. Exhale, back foot up to the top. Take an inhale, half lift. Exhale, folding. Planting your hands, taking both of your feet back and into your downward facing dog. For just a nice big inhale. And as you exhale, our knees are coming down again. Find your child's pose. Knees wide, big toes together, and rest your forehead. And bend your elbows. And slow down your breath. Feel free to stay here a little longer. If you're ready to move again, we're going to find our way to seated. So you can maybe pause for a moment in tabletop, but have a seat and bring your legs out in front of you when you're ready. Nice, give the knees a hug or a squeeze though once you're seated. Now we're gonna start with our right leg out long and in front of us. Our left foot can come to the inner thigh. So facing forwards, facing our right foot, right leg. Hands to the ground, somewhere beside us, behind us, fingertips. Push into them. Point your right toes up too. Think lifting your chest off the low back as always. And then we can stay here. You can stay seated pretty tall. You can fold forwards for a moment before we move along. Maybe give that leg a little extra length. You, of course, can stay folding forwards if you'd like. Or we can lift back up. We're going to leave our legs here. Our right hand is going to come back to the ground, kind of beside us, behind us, but push into the fingertips. We're going to push the ground away into the legs, the glutes, and that right hand. Lift the chest off of the low back. Point your toes up. Our whole body is active here. Our left arm is going to start to reach up above us. And maybe we stay centered, straight, nice and tall. Maybe we kind of start to tip over towards the right side. Now walk your hand away too. Keep kind of squeezing the core and pushing the glutes into the ground. The right hand, it can go as far as you want to. Maybe you're taking the bend out of that elbow and pushing into the fingertips. And then a little side stretch here. But you're still pretty active through that right leg. Those toes are pointing up. You're pushing your glutes into the ground. Might be more of actual core work than it is a side stretch. That's good. Now use an inhale to come back so that you're centered, you're tall again. We're just going to take our right leg and we're going to move it out wider. So it can go as far as you want it to go, kind of a half straddle situation. The left leg might not move much, but we're pointing our toes up. We're still facing forwards, no longer looking at our foot. Hands, push into them. Maybe take a little tip forwards if you want to, a little sway of the shoulders if you want to. Feel your inner leg. You can continue to do as you're doing, or you can sit back up again. Right hand, again, kind of behind us, kind of beside us. Pushing into those fingertips, pushing into the glutes. Try to lift your hips off the ground. Squeeze your belly in a touch as well. Point your right toes up. The left arm can start to reach up. And then you can walk your right hand away again. Not really toward, you don't have to go towards your foot, just kind of out to the right a little bit. Push into the fingertips. Maybe you're taking the bend out of the elbow. A nice active side stretch. Again, it might feel more work than stretch. That's good though. Take another breath here. And then use an inhale to find your way back. We can bring our right leg in and we can bring both legs together. And you can give them a nice little squeeze, little hug. Our left leg's going straight in front of us. Right foot to the inner thigh. Look at your foot, point your toes up, hands to the ground, push into the fingertips, try to lift your hips off the ground. And then hold that lift by squeezing whatever you got to squeeze. And then you can relax touch if you want to fold forwards for a few breaths, not too long. Or maybe you do stay here, enjoy the forward fold. But should you want to lift back up and bring the left hand to the ground beside you and start to press everything into the ground again, trying to lift the chest off the low back. The right arm can reach up. You can start to walk the left fingertips over, maybe taking the bend out of the elbow again, push into the fingers, and then kind of lean over. But point your toes up, push your glutes into the ground, squeeze what you got to squeeze to stay nice and active. Awesome work, you guys. Use an inhale. Bring yourself back up with your core. You can take the leg out to the side as far as it wants to go. Facing forwards, pointing the toes up, hands to the ground. Maybe try to lift the hips again. And keep that trying to lift the hips the whole time that we move into that side stretch. But if you are folding forwards, you can relax a little bit more. Maybe sway. Stretch your leg. Maybe finding your way back. Back to that active, trying to lift the hips off the ground. Left hand, fingertips, push into them too. Right arm reaching up, left walking over, leaning over a little, but push into those left fingertips. Maybe trying to take the bend out of the elbow. Push the glutes, point the toes, reach and lean. Squeeze your belly. Awesome work, you guys. Stay for another breath. Push your glutes into the ground. And then use an inhale to find your way back up. Bring your leg in, bring your knees together. Give everything a little hug or a squeeze if you want to. Notice how your obliques feel, your sides. And we are going to lay down on our backs. So you can find your way to the ground. You can bend your knees, plant your feet, or you can hug your knees to your chest. If you wanted to add a sway side to side, you can do that too. But just lay down. You're going to be taking our right foot and bringing it on top of the left quad. So figure 4. Now your left foot can stay on the ground. It can lift up. Hold on to the left leg, however you want to hold on to it. Maybe flex the feet. Feeling the right glute, hip. Let's stay for another breath. You have your foot lifted. You can slowly bring it down and uncross the legs. Maybe sway your knees a few times. Our left foot is going to go on top of the right quad. So whenever you're ready to switch sides, right foot can stay on the ground or it can lift. Maybe flexing the feet. Feel that left leg. And then breathe. Stay another breath or two here. If you've got your right foot lifted, that foot can come down. You can uncross your legs, plant your feet, maybe take a little sway of your knees. So we're going to keep our knees bent and our feet planted. We're going to move our arms a little bit, or our hands. So we're going to take both of our hands. Our palms are going to face down. We're going to slide them just underneath, maybe the low back, glutes. Maybe your thumbs and your first fingers can lightly find one another. Maybe you're making a little bit of a diamond underneath your back. And then we're going to try to rest our low back down on our hands, or you could be in a little bit of a hover, but our elbows are bent. They're pointing out to the sides. Our palms are facing down. Move your feet to a place where you feel like you could push into them to lift the hips off of the hands at any time. And again, you can keep kind of just a very little hover if you don't want too much weight on the hands. Okay, we can stay here. You can take your hands out at any time, of course, but you can stay here, just the hands, or we can try, lift your hips a bit and then try to maybe hold your forearms, maybe try to hold your elbows. You can lift your back as high as you need to kind of hug the arms and then try to bring your back down and your hips down. And your back might be arching a little bit here. So if you have to keep a very little hover, some weight in the feet, you can do that. Maybe you're able to relax a little bit. Bring the hips down, not holding yourself up in any way. Notice your shoulders. Now, one more chance to move the arms. So if we want to lift up so that we can move our arms again, we might try to interlace our fingers, palms together, and then you might tuck your shoulders under your chest a little bit. So you might have to lift higher and higher into a full bridge almost. But then can you try to bring your hips back down? And maybe you kind of get stuck in one place, but just just go for it. Maybe you're kind of sitting on your hands, your back still arched. As long as everything feels good, stay as you are. Or maybe you're lifted up in bridge pose, pushing into the feet. Maybe you're just crushing your fingers. That's not the best. So you can lift your hips up a bit. But just notice if you did interlace your fingers, if you're gone for this third variation, are your elbows bent? Maybe they don't need to be. Now, nice and slow, start to lift up enough so that you can take your arms, your hands out and bring your hips down. And maybe you'll make some fists and you'll take some wrist circles. And you can switch direction. And then we're going to be finding our way into a twist. So if you want to keep both knees bent today, you can. If you want to send your left leg long, hug your right knee in, and then do the twist. Just the right leg bent, left leg long. Rotate through the hips. Adjust the shoulders. Reach your arms out nice and wide. Feel the twist through your back, through your spine. Let your eyes close if they're still open. And stay for another breath or two. And you can use an inhale to move your legs back. Lay flat on your back for a moment. You sway the knees side to side while you decide. Gonna keep both of your legs bent. Or right leg long, hug the left knee in, and then twist. Switch sides when you're ready. Turn the hips. Adjust the shoulder. Enjoy a few breaths here. Take another breath or two. And you can lift your legs back up. Maybe you'll hug your knees to your chest this time. Maybe not. We can add a gentle rock or sway side to side. And then when you're ready to make your way into a Shavasana, whatever that's going to look like for you today, let's find a comfortable place. To spend these last few moments. Relax your entire body. You can try to press the ground away, try to hover yourself, and then just melt into it. You can slowly start to wiggle your fingers, your toes. Take a nice deep breath in. Maybe reach your arms above your head. Take a big stretch. And bend your knees and roll over. And find your way up to a comfortable seat. When you're ready, and bring your hands together. Awesome practice, you guys. Thank you for joining us today. Have a great rest of the day. We will see you very soon. Namaste.